Good afternoon, Lake Norman. Welcome to your weekly dose of Know the Scene, your show, your spot for what's going on here in the scene in Lake Norman and the towns around and beyond. What are you doing? What are you drinking? What are you eating? What are you seeing? What's the scene around here, man? What's the scene? I'm Justin Dionne, your host. Glad to be back this week. I hope everybody enjoyed a great holiday week last week with the Turkey Day and everything that came along with it. Got some good things done. Hopefully you've got over your initial bloat of the couple, those extra 2 to 5 or so pounds that carry on, and get rid of that as we're walking into the holiday season. Hope you got those Christmas decorations up. I know a lot that was that time. My neighborhood on Saturday and Sunday, my neighborhood driving around. So all the dads were out there, man, putting those lights up on the ladders, on the roofs, all the things. So I hope everyone's getting into that great spirit. Lots of great things continuing on around here in the Lake Norman area. Last Saturday in Cornelius, if you missed Light Up Cornelius, it was fantastic. We really gotta give it up to the town of Cornelius Parks and Recreation Department for really changing that event in a way. I don't want to say change, because it was still always a cool event. But this was just enhanced, really. It just ramped it up a little bit, kicked it up a notch. They shut down Catawba Avenue, had vendors in the street. They've got a brand new, beautiful Christmas tree. I think it's a 30 or 40 foot Christmas tree in the Cain Center Plaza. Beautiful. They had sledding out back, like in North Carolina. In here, they had it was cold enough that day that I heard Troy Fitzsimmons say they took these big blocks of ice and literally ran them through like a grinder and made this snow on the back hill of the Cain Center, and kids were sledding, tubing down the hill. It was great, but really great event we had last weekend. This weekend, we've got some continued great things around the area, around town. Make sure you're checking out your local, Mooresville, Statesville. I know Cornelius, North Mecklenburg has North Mecklenburg Christmas Parade this weekend. That's on Saturday. It's supposed to rain a little bit, but don't let that scare you away. So that's happening. Lots of wonderful things going on. Not necessarily like culture per se, but I'm excited for a big football game we have this weekend, Bill. My Florida State Seminoles are in that ACC championship game on Saturday. Go Noles. That's right. That's happening Saturday, so excited that. At Cain Center for the Arts, back to the arts and cultural scene, we've got this week running. If you listened last week, you'll remember we spoke to Robin Tynes and also Marla Brown from Charlotte Conservatory Theater and Three Bone Theater, and they are presenting this week at Cain Center 2 shows. One is called The Chinese Lady, and the other is called A Doll's House Part 2. And those are 2 professional theater companies in Charlotte that are expanding their performances for successful shows that they had in Charlotte up here to our area, just 20 minutes north. So go support them. Check them out. They've got shows on Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday as well. So please, cainarts.org. Go and check those out. Support your local theater companies as well, your local artists, as well as the great regional and national artists that we bring into. They all make it happen. Everybody makes it all happen. So we're excited to keep having these great events. We've got Cain Center coming up December 9th next week. We're gonna talk about this in just a second, but December 9th next week, we've got the Docksiders coming. And then December 16th, we've got Sons of Serendip coming as well for a Christmas show. And then that final weekend of Christmas, we've actually got December 22nd, Mark O'Connor and his wife Maggie O'Connor doing an Appalachian Christmas. Unfortunately, that is sold out. So sorry about that one. It's filled up. But there are some tickets left to Sons of Serendip and Docksiders. Not a lot, though. So I'd encourage you to go to cainarts.org, grab those tickets for these shows. Speaking of the Docksiders, we have a wonderful show today and a great guest with us from the Docksiders, Mr. Kevin. Remind me how to say your last name one more time. Suker. Kevin Suker. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Justin, thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this for a little while.
Yeah, we're excited to have you coming to us all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada.
We're hopping on planes from Sin City, and we are coming to beautiful Cornelius, North Carolina next weekend. Is it next weekend
It
already?
is next.
It's
It will
next
be
weekend.
next weekend. Yes.
Wow, I remember it being on the calendar for some time, thinking, okay, we got some time, and here we are. It seems to be like after Thanksgiving, time ramps through the end of the year. It just as I'm
Yeah.
getting older, that's what I've noticed.
No, I agree. I will agree. I will agree 100% with that. I joke with people that like, like after 4th of July, it pretty much is like fall real quick. And then next thing you know, it's New Year's because it just goes.
Right, right. And I think we're also becoming like really accustomed to the Christmas music starting almost immediately after Halloween. Like I remember being
Yes.
younger and thinking like, give us a minute to get through Thanksgiving before we get. Now it's like it
Just
feels
accept it. You just have to just like,
yeah, exactly right.
just let
Yeah,
Mariah run you over already.
I love it.
Mariah's thawing happens in mid-October now. And then it's just, and here we are. Well, I guess,
That's right.
okay.
That's right.
And if you go to, and if you go into your local Lowe's, they like October decorations are pretty much put out by September, and then in October they've already got Christmas out, and you're like, what is going on?
I don't know what winter is like in your neck of the woods, but we are new to Las Vegas. We moved here a year ago to open our show here, so it's strange to see. We're originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
Oh,
which
cool.
is
Okay.
winter galore, right? Like
Yes.
below zero can be 17, 20 inches of snow.
For like 6 months.
Exactly. For the majority of the year, we like to joke, but it's also true. But here, when the Christmas decorations come out, this will be our second Christmas time here. It's just odd seeing them on the palm trees and seeing green grass still, and it's a culture shift. That's to say the least.
Have you, if you're in Las Vegas, so you've been there 2 years, you said?
We moved here a year ago, August, so almost a year and a half.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So and is it did you and you and your wife move, or you got a family, or?
Yeah, we moved the whole band. The entire Docksiders had an amazing opportunity last year to open up our very own headlining residency in Las Vegas, and it's
Wow.
one of those things that happens. If you're lucky enough in your lifetime to be given an opportunity like that. We sat down as a group and we said, listen, this is a legit opportunity for us. We opened a show 5 nights a week at the Rio, which is just off the strip.
Wow, you guys are at the Rio.
Yeah, it was an amazing opportunity, and everybody in the band, at the point that they were in their lives, they said, let's do this. Let's all go for it. So everybody moved to Las Vegas.
That is so cool, man.
Which was really cool. And it just goes to show you, like, I'm 52 years old.
What?
I'm not ashamed to say this. And I guess I'm considering this the next chapter in my life, obviously. And your dreams, no matter how old you become, are still worthy of following. And I am a living testament that if you stay true to what passion drives you in your life, and you feel like you put good out into the world, that there really is truly good that can come back to you. So it's a very blessed life. We're very humbled to be given this amazing opportunity to entertain people, not only just in Las Vegas, but we did 36 cities this summer.
Wow.
It's a grateful, and the time of year that we're in, and being humble about it, for me, is what marches us forward.
I love that. All right, wow, what a kickoff. What an introduction. We're going to have to go to break, but stick with us. Right after the break, we're going to talk more with Kevin from the Docksiders. We're going to learn more about the Docksiders, more about Kevin. Come on back, Know the Scene.
More Know the Scene with Cain Center for the Arts.
Wow, Kevin, I'm going to be ashamed to admit to you that I did not realize you guys had a Vegas show.
Yeah, man.
Like, well, I just booked, I booked you guys. So Adam, right?
Yeah.
Your agent, like, he's a cool guy. Like, I've seen him in a lot of conferences and stuff. And we were just talking about, like, gosh, I think it was last spring or, or January or something. We're, talking about acts, and he just like pitches you guys to me. And I was like, yeah, they look like a lot of fun. We should try them out. And he's like, cool. Yeah, let's go. And I was like, okay, awesome. I didn't even know you guys had a Vegas show. That's so cool, man.
Yeah, our life changed pretty drastically last year. Like, we literally sold our house. We picked up, my wife is in the band as well. She's the female singer in the band.
Oh,
so we get to do
nice.
this together, which is absolutely amazing. And, our dear friend, Tony Orlando, who's been my mentor forever, the legend, is the guy that brought us to Vegas. He said, he sat in with us in our hometown and he said, this show belongs in Las Vegas. Oh my God. Like, you guys need your own theater, and he made it happen for us.
Oh, I can't wait. Okay,
And
I don't want to spoil all of it during the break.
so
We are
it's
still
been
live
pretty cool.
on like Facebook Live. So if anybody were watching Facebook Live right now, this is like the extra bonus features. They get to
Love
watch
it.
this.
Love
But
it.
I
Love
want to,
it.
because this is, I mean, I'm so much even more excited to like chat today, because I really want to like unpack, I don't know, just how, like what a cool story. There's got to
It's
be a story here, how you got here, how you personally,
Yeah.
then how you met your bandmates, and then how you guys put this, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I can tell you a quick if you're interested, I can tell you a quick synopsis of who I am and how I
Oh,
got
we want that.
here,
Yeah.
how the
We want
Docksiders
that.
became. Yeah, it's pretty mind blowing actually.
That's what I'll
And
start. Like, I want to start with, like, when we start off, I'll kind of ask, like, so take me back to the
Yeah.
very beginning.
Yeah, it's weird.
Where did
It's
where on a bright sunny day at 9:27 a.m. Kevin was born where, right? Or where, right? Like,
there you go.
I want to get into all that, and I'm even more excited to know that about y'all's show, like, because that's a full show.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
y'all do
it
a full
is.
show.
We say it during the show too, and your audience will hear it. Like, our music is therapy. People leave our shows, and we'll come out to a merch
30
table
seconds.
at the end, and we want to meet everybody and take pictures and say hello.
That's
And
awesome.
everybody, it seems to be very consistent wherever we are in the country. It takes people back to a place in time when life was simpler. And
20 seconds. Sorry.
Yep. 20 seconds.
20. Yeah. 20 seconds. We're back on. Sorry,
Go
just letting you know.
ahead. Yeah, it's all good.
I'm excited. This is great. It's gonna be great time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is fun.
For the Arts Executive Director Justin Dionne on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back. Tuesday afternoon, Know the Scene. Justin Dionne, your host here. Really excited, guys. By the way, we thank you for listening. We also encourage you, if you are at home or at work, by chance, you can watch the show on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. And if you are doing that, you will get some extra bonus features where Kevin and I will be continuing our conversations during the break, and that's broadcast live. So you can find out little bonus feature stuff we talk about during the breaks and everything else like that. And then also, please, if you have not yet done so and you like our show, go onto your podcast app and look up WSIC Know the Scene and then subscribe to it, because then you will get notifications whenever our new shows air after they've aired live. And you can also go back and you can listen to past episodes. And we've had a lot of great guests so far, and we're really excited to keep talking with our guest today, Kevin. So Kevin, again, thank you for being here. What a great kickoff. You got me really excited before the break and during the break. So, but I want to take us back, because you have such a story. Take us back. Who is Kevin Suker? Where are you from? What's your story? How did you get involved in what it is that you do now with music?
Thanks. It's been an amazing ride. It's been a mind-blowing journey, actually. I started writing songs when I was like 12, 13 years old, just in my parents' house. Always paid attention to the top 40 and Casey Kasem, listening to the top 40 music every Sunday and trying to figure out why songs did what they did, not really understanding what I was to become, but always had an affinity. So as a young writer, I made a lot of music. Was in a band, had some moderate success, never got signed, but got very close a couple times. Had a development deal with a major label that they chose not to move the option on in the early 90s. That during that time, I was also learning how to become a record producer
Cool.
and engineer. So I started building a studio in my parents' basement, and I made a ton of records. And
like of your own, like
how,
just your own, or like a friends or other bands or what?
yeah, other bands in my hometown of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh,
so
nice.
I was doing tons of records for bands and singers and rappers and all sorts of, as well as my own music. And that took me to, in my 30s, I had a commercial studio in the downtown Milwaukee. I did a lot of advertising work. I would write music, or what would be considered jingles for radio and television ads.
Yeah.
While that business was
Any
still
ones that we
pretty,
would know, or like any national or mostly local up there to the Milwaukee?
a lot of local and regional stuff to Milwaukee. I did like the
Nice.
Milwaukee Brewers, our Major League Baseball team. I
Yeah.
did the Milwaukee Bucks, our NBA team.
That's
Lots of
awesome.
really cool stuff.
So Miller Lite maybe?
Yeah, absolutely did a lot of work for Miller,
That's
the Miller Company.
That's right.
And then I made a record for a friend who was signed to Warner Brothers, and we were in a band together when I was 19, and he had married a very famous movie star and was in Los Angeles, and was in a bad situation. The label wasn't going to put any more money into his career. They weren't going to release him from his contract. So he came back to Milwaukee to make a record with no money, called me and asked if I'd be interested. I said, yes, let's do it. That turned into me leaking the single to radio. It went to #1.
What?
It resurrected his career. And he fired his manager and made me his manager. So now I went from this songwriter, record producer to artist manager.
Now you got. I mean, you
Um,
got. I mean, you got. You got to say who this person is, right? Like, can you say who it is?
He has an R&B artist by the name of Eric Benet.
Oh,
And
okay,
he was married, very famously married to Halle Berry.
Yes.
And,
Okay, cool.
So I managed him for a while.
Wow.
And learned kind of the business side of the music industry as well. And during
Yeah.
that time with Eric, I had 3 Grammy nominations. In
Well,
2009,
congratulations! Wow.
thank you. We had R&B Album of the Year, Best Male Vocal R&B, and Best Traditional Male Vocal R&B Album in 2009 and 2010. And then wound up selling my management company to a couple oil investors in Texas.
What?
Yeah, this is how crazy this story
Dude,
goes.
what? Like, this is
Throughout this whole time, I'm not performing anymore, right? So I haven't been on stage. I was just in the studio and helping artists fulfill their dreams.
this is like Entourage.
It's crazy. So this is where it even gets crazier. While I was setting up my music company for these oil guys, they made me their CEO. They wanted to also make a movie, and we made a movie called Dallas Buyers Club that won
What?
3 Oscars.
Wait, what? How did I
So-
miss this in my show notes, Bill? We
Yeah.
didn't prep me well enough for this. All right, what's going on?
So I'm an uncredited executive producer on that film. We were there for the whole principal photography, and that was an amazing experience. I did a music inspired by the film that we donated all the proceeds to Bono's AIDS charity, Red.
What?
Which was an amazing project to be a part of. And then in 2017, I'm talking to a friend of mine who is at a big agency out on the East Coast, and I said something's interesting with these cover band, these tribute acts that are playing in real theaters.
It's the
and
thing,
performing arts.
man.
And he said, man, it's a real legitimate business. And I said, I'm in love with this genre of music called yacht rock,
Yeah.
which is loosely described of soft rock hits of the 70s and 80s. And I said, I'm considering coming out of retirement and putting a band together. And he said, listen, I'm going to sign you. I know the quality of work you do. Go put a band together. You have a home here at the agency.
Wait, and
Which floored me.
which agency?
What was that?
Is this the agency?
This is ICM.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That's where we started. And then 2018, like the path was amazing. We took the show on the road. We built it in our hometown. We started playing regionally around the Midwest, and then branched out to the East Coast. And then an amazing story. I met one of my heroes in Tony Orlando, who came in and sat in and did a show with us in our hometown in 2020 or 2021. And he said, this show belongs in Las Vegas. Are you interested? And if you are, I will get you a theater in Las Vegas for the Docksiders to play. And we said, let's see where this road goes. And fast forward from where you heard the early 13-year-old Kevin Zucker to 52-year-old Kevin Zucker sitting in Las Vegas as a headliner here.
That's amazing.
We have our own show here in Vegas, and we are fortunate enough to take the show out very frequently, weekends, and summertime we do a pretty extensive tour on top of that. It could not be more of a full circle, sort of like my dream of being a performer went in other ways, had amazing things, very grateful for professionally happen, and then to be kind of back on stage now, making people happy, playing great music, and entertaining audiences couldn't be any cooler.
Wow. That was, I mean, Kevin, that's a lot to unpack, man.
It's
That-
it's hard
that-
to say it in a quick amount of time too. So I apologize.
You don't have
if
to.
I
We have,
rambled.
it's okay. We're gonna break this down a little bit. We're gonna break this down.
Yeah,
We've got some time. We're not a full podcast format, but we've got some time. Wow.
Right
Well,
on.
first of all, again, man, congratulations. What a journey.
Yeah.
You
Thank
know, and
Thank
like
you so much.
and what I'm sure took a lot of, resilience and commitment and openness and trust on your end in many things, right? And in relationships and in yourself and in the people that you work with and all these things, in your skills, right? Wow. And it seems like also like openness to developing new skills.
Right. Yeah. And it's the type of business, the entertainment industry is the type of business that, you become known for one thing and then people kind of just see you as that one
Sure.
thing.
Sure.
It's very typical. Like even peers that knew me as a record producer, when they see me on stage, it's kind of like, I guess, all of us producers play guitar or play keyboards and had to have been in a band at some point in time. But it sometimes takes a bit of a leap of faith to say, wow, you're really doing something different right now. And it's hard. It was not easy. At 38 years old, I had felt like I had done everything I could do. I was still living in Wisconsin. There's no music industry in Wisconsin. And I felt like aside from like picking up everything and moving, I had lived in LA when I was 19. I had lived in New York prior to being
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. So
about
was
30. But Milwaukee had always been my home. And to make connections or to do the networking that's necessary, it's impossible. Even as small as the world is with the internet and Wi-Fi, you have to be in people's faces and you have to be really able to do the work when you're called upon to
right.
get an opportunity to do that work.
Right.
And the opportunities just weren't in Wisconsin. And it was interesting. I did a very short stint selling surgical mesh, which was nothing that I was passionate about. It was, I had two young kids, figuring I got to grow up at some point in
Right.
time. The music thing was not really flush. And honestly, it was like a light switch happened when my friend called me that I hadn't talked to in a very long time. He went through this very public breakup with his wife, and he needed to get out of LA. And he happened to say, "I want to come back home and make a record. And you got a studio, and you want to make some music." And I just said, "Let's not worry about the business side of it. Let's just make some music." And the Grammy nominations came from that album, and all of a sudden my life changed. And it was just, again, they say luck is the culmination of
Opportunity meets preparation.
correct.
Yeah, that's my
And
wife and I always say that too. It's not
It's the
luck.
truth.
It's opportunity
it is.
meets preparation.
And that's what happened to me. And from there it went on. And I mean, I've worked with Stevie Wonder and Gwen Stefani, and I've worked with my heroes, and music has taken me around the world half a dozen times. And it's been, I say to my kids, if for some reason my time on the planet ends prematurely, I'm fulfilled. I really set out to do the things that I hope to do. My hopes are now as we go on is just to make people happy and to be good to people. And I'm a really big firm believer that if you put a lot of good into the world, it comes back tenfold. So
Yeah.
it's been a lot of fun.
I love that. I love that. All right. So we're going to continue putting good out into the world after this quick break and a word from the sponsors. So come right back. Know the Scene on WSIC. Don't go anywhere. All right. Dude, wow. I'm writing notes. I'm like scratching here, like music producer, movie producer, artist manager, all this stuff. Wow, man. How cool. I had no clue. I'm like I said, I'm embarrassed to admit, I just did not even know what I was walking into today with talking to you. I was like, cool, we'll talk to the guy from Docksiders. I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. And I think that's when you see I'm assuming you'll be at the show on the night?
Dude, listen, my wife and I have had this one circled. My wife especially, who she'll come to shows and stuff. I mean, she's my wife. I run an arts center. So she'll do the thing. But this is when she was originally she had grandiose ideas of renting a party bus, of all of us putting on costumes and you know what I mean? Doing the thing.
Listen, when I quietly on every show that we do, just because I want to figure out how we can maximize everything that we're doing, and ultimately, like the biggest struggle is when you're going into a new city and you're like, okay, how do we cross the gap of people understanding what the Docksiders are?
So we're a lake town.
See, I learned this.
Okay, I was
right?
gonna say, I was like,
I did my research, but I also learned like like there are a handful of towns that we'll go to that I was checking ticket sales religiously.
oh
And I'm
yeah,
looking at your seating map just to kind of see where things are. And we did our own private spend on Facebook. Our
Oh,
audience
wow.
is Facebook. We do it on every show. It's my investment into making sure that we are marketing our show correctly.
Yeah, well, we always
in those
appreciate that.
areas. So we did a 50-mile radius of Cornelius. We
Yeah.
spent, I think, quite a bit just to make sure that the word was leveraged, right? And I said to the guys, like I told you before we started, had the ticket sales been lighter, it would have probably been the type of thing where I would have called Adam and said, "Can you see if they'd be kind enough to move it to maybe spring or early summer when we're
Yeah.
already going to be out there?" But when it looked wonderful. And I said to the fellas, I'm like, listen, we're going. Well, this is
We're
gonna be
we're
fun.
going.
We're going.
We're
These
going
people
at the
are
quad
excited
of the
to see the Docs.
gymnasium. We're going. Streaking to the
We're
quad,
going.
baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
I mean, they're gonna be. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have, and this crowd here, man. Like they will party.
That's
Like
good.
I'm sure they will want to have a good time. And but I tell you too, they love the crowd here loves when you. I mean, they love a show, but they love when you talk to them.
Sure.
So like if you guys, if you want to tell any, stop and talk to the audience or tell a little story or something like that, they love that kind of stuff too. Like on stage banter, like they love that.
Yeah, I hope you can tell I have no problem speaking. So every once in a while, the band will look at me and be like, "Kevin, wrap it up already." Like, I'll
Next
go off
song,
on
next
a
song.
tangent. I believe that everybody should leave entertained. So
Yeah.
20
lead
seconds,
with
guys.
The music,
20
but
seconds.
The talk is what makes it entertaining, right? Like,
Yeah. I've actually had people give me feedback. Sorry, we're kind of right 10 seconds, Bill. Okay, call. Sorry, we'll come back on and we'll continue.
Yeah.
Now more Know the Scene with Cain Center for the Arts Executive Director Justin Dionne on the new 1059 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to this Tuesday's Know the Scene. Justin Dionne, your host here, having a really great time chatting with Kevin Suker here from the Docksiders, who are coming to Cain Center on December 9th. By the way, again, please make sure you are listening to us or checking us out on Facebook Live or YouTube Live if you have the opportunity. And again, please do make sure that you subscribe to our podcast link on any of the podcast apps that you may use. Just look up WSIC Know the Scene, and you can listen to this or any past show. And you also get notified when we have new shows. If you are listening today and would like to ask Kevin a question, I tell you what, you can give us a call here at the studio, 844-STUDIO-4. That is 844-788-3464. And I tell you what, if you call in, I will also throw in a pair of tickets to the show. And look, those are getting sparse. Those tickets are getting sparse. So big opportunity here for a fun night. Kevin, before we really get into like the full experience of a Docksiders show, I want to take it back for a minute and unpack just the killer story, man. Again, I was during the break, everyone, I was telling Kevin, I was like, I got the notes I wrote down here, man. They got a music producer, a movie producer, an artist manager, a medical mesh salesman,
Exactly.
a
Right?
man of many talents. Kevin, did you like go to school? Like let's take this back. Did you go to school to study music or anything like that?
Completely self-taught. My parents would, if they were sitting here, they're obviously very proud parents. They would say that at 3 years old, my grandparents had a double-tiered Wurlitzer organ.
Oh wow!
And the story goes something like they had finished watching the movie musical Fiddler on the Roof.
Classic.
So this had to be 1974-ish. And I crawled up on the bench of the piano and I was playing the melody of If I Were a Rich Man.
Oh, nice.
Maybe they were imagining I was playing the melody or I was playing something similar, but my ear has always been
passed.
Yeah, right. My ear is I'm an ear trained. I hear things very differently.
That's awesome.
There's a movie that was out, I want to say in the early 2000s, called Begin Again, with Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley, where she's kind of like a struggling songwriter and he's a failed record producer. It's a very, very beautiful movie. It's a wonderful story about loss and not really being successful, but having these amazing talents and abilities. And anyways, Mark Ruffalo's character in this movie there's one scene where she's playing in a club and it's just her and a guitar, but he's looking and he sees like almost ghosts playing all the other instruments. He's hearing
Huh.
the development, and that's kind of the blessing and the curse that I
You
have
got
as
those
well.
oral,
So
those oral skills.
I hear things, and I can be sitting at a piano and I can hear the entire song in my head, and I hear how the instruments should be working with each other and the way records should sound. And so yeah, no formal training whatsoever, just the ability to learn. And again, I'd like to point out for all the young kids, I didn't have the YouTubes that all the other kids
Right?
have today.
Right?
I had to listen to records on the radio and figure out what they were doing.
I lucked out that I had, I mean, I could pull up the guitar tab. Like
Sure.
I could do that when I was in high school. I did have the ability to put. Well, at first I had to buy the books before the internet got like really, and then by late high school, early college, you could, you had guitartabs.com and stuff like that, right? Where you
Sure.
could pull guitar tabs. But that was it, man. But nowadays, you just pull up YouTube and watch someone's fingers and show you where to go and how exactly to do it, and it's great.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a whole different level of information that I had no access to whatsoever.
So so with everything else though, did you like study business or anything, or
No, just had an
you just
affinity,
learned all
right?
this? I love it.
Just have an instinct for music. I had an instinct, hopefully. I loved, once I left, writing my original music after my career never really blossomed as an original artist. Being behind the scenes sort of filled the hole of that performance aspect that I loved so much,
Yeah.
being in front of people. And I found a lot of love in putting a deal together, right? Thinking
Yeah.
about creatively how to connect dots,
Love that.
creatively how to communicate with people,
Yes.
how to help artists fulfill what their dreams were. And I had a knack. I just had a knack of doing it. I always wanted to. I initially wanted to be a lawyer. I was pre-law. I went to a year and a half of college as an undergrad, and I sat with my dad at lunch one day, and I said, "Hey, I know you're amazingly cool by helping me pay for school, but I don't think my heart lies here. I think my destiny is going to be in music, and I really want to give it a shot." I had an opportunity to write music for a movie when I was 19 years old that required me to move to Los Angeles, and was my first move. Didn't really pan out the way that I'd hoped for, but it was worthy of giving it a shot and seeing if it was going to lead somewhere. But yeah, at points of my life, I do wish that I had some formal education musically. There definitely are players that speak a different language than I speak,
Well, sure,
just based upon their educational prowess in music. But I know enough to be pretty dangerous.
dude, that's so. I'm really I'm identifying a lot with what you're saying right now too, because like that's one of the things that I identify with too. I started as a performer, but then found a passion and a talent for, like you said, like that art of helping artists and connecting artists to opportunities and connecting audiences to artists, and you know what I mean, and helping to tie people together through it. And I even say jokingly that I'm like, listen, man, there's art to being able to build and operate a real good Excel spreadsheet. I'm like, I know that sounds boring to a lot of people, but when you get into it, there's an art to it that is an art. Like,
I completely agree with you. And taking it even further, and I left this off my resume, but during the pandemic, when the world shut down, I was hired to run an NPR affiliate radio station. I was the executive director.
oh wow,
of a radio station called Radio Milwaukee, and had a board of directors to report to and 40 employees to figure out how we were going to save this
Wow.
organization. So I took all these skills of business
yeah,
and relationships, and in a time when as you know, being an ED of a performance venue, the world shut down.
Right.
They were the first to shut down and the last to reopen.
Right.
The Docksiders felt it. We were just at the beginning of our wonderful sort of trajectory out into the world.
Right. Especially you
And I
guys just
felt
started
like,
in 2018. So you were just like hitting
man,
stride probably.
we were starting to get our 2020 calendar looked incredible, and it just came to a halt like everybody's else did. And then the idea of like when the world was going to open again, there were a million other artists that were trying to get out and fill their calendars.
Right.
And how does like a younger baby band like I called us, how do we, get in and get certain dates while everybody else in the world is? But,
There was a
needless to
while
say,
it felt like it was just like there were so many shows.
right?
Like so many shows. There was like a backlog, and there was. I mean, there was literally a backlog of all these artists that had contracts and stuff, and rescheduled shows, and it was just like bump, 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 like a traffic jam of shows.
Do you remember it was so celebratory?
Oh
when
yeah, it
we
was
came out of
fantastic.
the pandemic, and it was like we're open again, and like I remember our first show out of the pandemic, where it was like, wait, we have to take masks off, and you're in this sort of like bubble of like we're going to be the only ones in the room without masks on, but yet there were all these rules of people that had to have vax cards and show things, and it was this sort of just giant cluster of like what are we doing, and how is this, but there was just this celebration of life that happened, at least for us, feeling like, wow, we're back into the world a little bit now, and it's feeling like amazing.
Yeah, like what my first show concert that I attended after my first post-pandemic concert was actually a tribute band. It was an Aerosmith tribute band here at an outdoor venue here in Lake Norman at Boatyard, and it was it was just so great to be, and they're fantastic, of course, but like it was just so great to be back out, and seeing a band and seeing live music and being around others in that way, and it's been so great to see that continue. And I think, I know some of us, and I'm sure you're from industry. I mean, some things are still struggling to balance, right? Like what are audiences doing now? Like sales are happening at different times than they used to, and what does the audience really want now? And those things have always been a challenge, but it's still tough to figure out now. But I do think that there's still people still are like, nah, man, I want to go out when I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like we felt what it was like to literally have to be without.
Yeah. I came to Las Vegas during the pandemic. It was for a business meeting. And I remember walking into the casinos, and they were open, but they were open very strangely. I remember walking by a poker room and seeing plexiglass screens up where players would be sitting at the tables, separating them from other players.
Wow.
And then coming here to look for a place to live in early 2022. It was February of 22. So, a couple of years, not too far from the beginning of the pandemic, but Vegas was just like, flourishing with life and people. And as you can imagine, like, we've learned, Vegas is a completely different animal than any other city that we play in, because there's 300 options for people tonight. Literally Tuesday night here, there are, how do you decide what you're going to go see? It either comes down to what you want to spend, or what your budget is, or what you're in the mood for. But very interesting, now being a Vegas resident, to see how this city thrives, not only just on the tourism side of people coming to have their 2-3 day weekend trips to Vegas, but like the conventions that come to town, and how entertainment has responded post pandemic. It feels very interestingly different than it did obviously pre-pandemic too.
Wow. Yeah, well, I'm glad we've come out of it, and we're going to come back to everyone now after another quick break. Come back to us. We're going to wrap it up here with Kevin, talking more about the Docksiders in the show. Know the Scene.
Unity calendar.
Nice. Yeah, have you done the ball thing, the sphere thing?
I was there opening night for the first U2 show.
Wow, dude, what was that like?
I'm a huge fan. Dude, it is. There is not another venue, obviously, on the planet like this. It is unbelievable. I can't imagine what it must cost to produce a show, because you can't take a regular tour into that room. It has to be a show that is production designed for this new giant spectacle. There's no sound, there's no PA. All the speakers,
What?
192,000 speakers are behind the wall.
What?
You see nothing.
Wow.
And there's like almost 360 degrees of video, all encompassing. It was incredible. I mean, it was
Wow.
mind blowing. But I don't know how it survives.
So like they're going to have to build shows specifically or produce shows specifically just for that, nowhere else.
Right. And from what I heard, Dolan is looking at building one in London now.
I heard about that too.
Yeah, I think he's trying to replicate it. I think that's the only way it works. Like if an artist like U2 or Harry Styles or whoever for that matter that's being thrown around as being next, they'd have to travel these spheres and play their shows. And now you're taking them out of other, markets. And I don't know how the math works. I can't figure it out.
Dude, I can't imagine the operating costs of a venue like that. That's something that like I deal with a lot is like people sometimes forget like just what it costs us just to open the doors.
Oh yeah.
Like even like a little place like us, as a small 400 seater, even then just to, just to open the doors that night, have the staff there for the show, blah, blah, blah. And that's not counting the, and we have 20 volunteers a night.
I get it.
Who are helping, right? But even then it still just costs X. And you think about something like that?
Yeah.
Like the Sphere, what it must cost just to put on a show. Not counting paying the artist, fees and marketing costs and everything else on top of that.
Yep. The interesting point about the Sphere is there's about 1,000 seats that have obstructed view. And I think they had to make a choice. My guess is that they said, this is going to be the best of the worst situation. So I was in the first section just off center, but from row 21 to row 36, you're under the balcony and you can't see any of the content that's halfway above the screen all the way over your head. So I lost all of that.
Oh no. All right. 20 seconds. We're back in 20 seconds. Wow. That's unfortunate.
If you're going to go sit forward of row 21.
Okay. Good to know.
Last segment, guys, keep bringing the energy.
Thanks, sir.
All right. To speak with Justin Dionne at 844 Studio 4. It's Know the Scene on 1059 100.7 WSIC.
Sum 41 throwback there. All right, welcome back. Know the Scene Tuesday afternoon. We're having a killer time today, hanging out and talking with Mr. Kevin Suker from the Docksiders. He's coming to us
so much
from.
For having me on,
dude,
man.
thank
this
you.
This has been a great conversation.
Yeah, I tell you, man. I keep saying this every time we do one of these to Bill afterwards, but I swear we just need to figure out a way to transition this to like a podcast show because I start talking to everyone and we just start jamming and next thing you know it's over. And there's so many things to like unpack like through this, right?
Sure.
I mean, I'm like, man, I want to like get Kevin back on sometime maybe. We'll just talk about something like music producing or just like that. It's just so many cool things. But what I want to do now in this last little bit, by the way, again, everyone, if you have not been listening or paying attention during the breaks on like Facebook Live, you should go back and listen later and watch later because Kevin has some great conversations. We just talked about the Sphere, the Las Vegas Sphere thing that you guys may have seen. Lots of cool things about that. Kevin had some cool things to say about that. But what I want to talk about now is let's talk Docksiders. All right, let's talk. You guys are coming. You got your show in Vegas. Let's start. Let's just start. Dip our toe in. Help paint the picture for everyone of yacht rock.
Imagine it's 1981 and you're cruising the Hamptons with your friends. You're wearing fluorescent color polo shirts with your collars popped, listening to the soft, smooth rock sounds of Christopher Cross, Michael McDonald, Kenny Loggins, Hall & Oates. This is what we are bringing to Cornelius, North Carolina, the Cain Center on the 9th of December. We are bringing the Yacht. We are going to drop anchor at the Cain Center on the 9th, and we are going to be playing the smoothest, softest rock you guys have heard in a long time. So we're bringing a little flavor of Las Vegas to North Carolina that we're really excited about. It is a fun show. There's a lot of energy. There's going to be a lot of songs that you're going to hear that I promise you haven't heard in a long time. And you're going to go, oh, I love that song. And wow, it takes me back. We always say, and I think I said this when we were off air, we always say our shows seem to be very therapeutic. to people that grew up in the 70s and 80s and even younger, right? Some of my kids, I've got some 20 something kids that are now discovering this music on their
It's
own.
on a comeback.
It really is. It really is. And it's a lot of fun. It's we don't take ourselves too seriously on stage, which makes for a fun night. But we also don't, we don't ridicule ourselves either. It's a really cool balance of self-deprecating humor and the music that we grew up listening to. The show is based about my life and my career. So it's not surprising that you didn't know about it. You haven't seen our show, and sometimes it's hard to lead with, "Hey, I'm Kevin Suker. I'm a 3-time Grammy nominee and a 3-time Oscar winner." You kind of learn that this is the music that helped put me on course.
So your show has a little bit of like a story to it.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So, and there's a video that plays right before we go on that really kind of sets up the entire night, explains who I am, explains who the Docksiders are, and where I've come, and what this music has meant to me, and why I put this band together with these incredible musicians and world-class singers. So we're really excited to come and play. We always kind of hold our breath when you come to a new city. You're like, well, I wonder how they're going to react. I wonder if the ticket sales are going to be great. I wonder if it's going to be one of those audiences that is there to party or they're there to listen. Every audience tends to have like a group personality.
Yes.
And we find that, with Yacht Rock, the music is so positive and uplifting that if people are there to hang out and have a great night, and they're there to have some cocktails and party, it's going to be an amazing, enjoyable night. If it's not, if people want to sit back and watch, we understand that too. The music is not, 3-chord pop songs. This is very intricate music to play. You need great musicians on stage that can replicate the music. And we take pride. There's a couple other yacht rock bands around the country that are doing the same sort of thing, but we feel that we're very different. We try to replicate the record and the recorded versions of these songs to a T. So
wow.
We take it very seriously to make sure.
So your saxophone player is no joke.
Oh man, he's playing note for note these solos that these legends.
Is there any Careless Whisper, perhaps?
Oh, see, now you're getting into really interesting territory. This is where we need another hour to chat. But there are certain songs that are considered yacht rock and certain that aren't.
Oh,
yacht rock purists would say, God forbid you play Careless Whisper in a yacht rock show. You're breaking all the rules.
How
on
interesting.
the other hand, tend to believe like you need to play songs that make people happy. And if they want to hear songs that are blurring the lines of what yacht rock might be, but might be considered soft rock, I think that's appropriate.
So literally there are rules. Like you said a phrase I think I never thought I would hear, and that was yacht rock purist.
Dude, there's a culture and a subculture of these people that are like, there's a website called Yacht or Nyat, and they rank songs by their yachtiness.
Bill, I know Justin's in the room with you. This has got to happen tomorrow morning show. Play Yacht or Nyat. Yacht or Nyat on tomorrow's morning show, please.
It's so cool. It's really an interesting subculture.
Man, if I had known that, we would have done that live today. Like we would have, like part of the show would have been, we're going to play Yacht or Nyat. This is great. I love that.
It's a lot to unpack.
So maybe some Careless Whisper. Maybe. I don't want to ruin the show. Funny story. We actually have John Oates himself coming to Cain Center in April.
So I saw that on your schedule.
Doing his like blues kind of solo songwriter storytelling show. It's great.
He is the sweetest man. In 2002, when I was still doing original music, I opened for Hall & Oates on part of their tour.
What?
So John Oates used to stand in the wings, and he would watch me play my 20-minute set, and was very, very sweet.
I've heard he's a super, super nice man.
Such a great guy.
Yeah, we're really excited to have him too. Almost as excited as we are to have you guys.
There we go. I love it. We're excited to come, man. I'm not joking.
Do you guys do the costumes?
Well,
I know. Sorry, so I'm gonna set the stage. I know sometimes I've seen some of the yacht rock. I was at a booking conference a couple years ago at AIBA, and there was a yacht rock band in it, and they literally dressed up in these yacht captain, like everyone was in the white the white things.
Sure,
But you guys don't do that, right? You don't go that far.
No, if you see our website, we're more it's more of a Vegas show band with us.
Yes.
So I'm the captain. I wear a captain's hat on stage, and then we wear a lot of sequins. It's it's a very sort of polished,
Love it.
Produced show that will make people hopefully leave saying, when are you bringing those darn Docksiders back?
It'll happen. It will happen. I'm already feeling it. Like it's gonna happen. And listen, folks, listening. I'm not kidding. We got there are less than 50 tickets left to this show.
Out of curiosity, has anybody called for those 2 tickets?
Not yet. They haven't, but they're missing out.
Well, let me sweeten the deal by throwing in a couple Docksiders t-shirts and a couple captain's hats.
What?
If you call in, not only are you getting 2 t-shirts, but you're going to get some swag and a captain's hat.
Yeah, come on. You'll get tickets. You'll get swag to wear for the show, guys. Come on, call in. Yeah, sorry. Call in. The number is 844-788-3464. Again, 844-788-3464. You got 4 minutes left in the broadcast, Bill? 3 minutes left. Call in so you can win 2 tickets to the Docksiders with some t-shirts and captain's hats.
Done deal.
Guys, party on, Wayne. Party on, Wayne.
Wings.
Are you and buffalo wings and buffalo wings? Are you so I just have to ask this too. I just have to. With it being the holiday season, are there any perhaps surprise holiday yacht rock songs that might show up?
There might actually be.
What?
There might actually be. We don't, we haven't put together a full, sort of Christmas with the Docksiders show yet. That's something we've been talking about.
That's next year. Wink, wink.
A good couple of years, but we easily should probably be thinking about that because that is a wonderful concept for many reasons. But we do have. We will be ending the night with a celebratory Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome.
Moment. Yeah.
I'm telling you guys that are listening, if you haven't heard the show today and you're just joining us, you got to get some tickets to see the Docksiders. I mean, and the few that are left, by the way, because this is just going to be a fantastic show, just a great time, fun, but not just fun, but you will hear some absolutely phenomenal artists, From what Kevin has described and from what I've seen as well, obviously you guys can go online and YouTube and watch all the things. I mean, he said it, they are going to focus on playing your favorite songs from the 70s and 80s. Now, yacht rock is soft rock with mix. Sorry, I don't want to mess it up now.
Yeah, you're right on. Yacht rock is loosely. There's a technical definition of what yacht rock is, which we tend to not really speak much of because it talks to the musician that's in the audience. Yacht rock was recorded during a small window of years by essentially the band Toto that played on almost every record in the late 70s and early 80s. And that's what basically is considered yacht rock. But the masses have kind of made it more than just that narrowed purist description of what yacht rock is. So we like to call it soft rock hits of the 70s and 80s. Where yacht rock ends is really 1983, but we're playing songs into 1985.
Oh, good.
And, we feel like the audience.
Hey,
we need to give audiences what they came to hear, which are songs that they love.
Yeah, they don't need the bar. They don't need barriers put around them. All right. Well, hey, we had a caller, Hope. Hope called in and talk to Bill. Congratulations, Hope, on winning some tickets and T-shirts and some captain's hats. Come to the show. Bring some friends with you, Hope. You get 2, but bring more friends with you as well. Listen, we got to wrap it up, guys. Kevin, thanks so much.
Justin,
wow.
Thank you.
So great chatting with you. So great meeting you. We will see you in a few weeks, a week and a half. Guys, get those tickets. Check us out next week. Know the Scene. Everyone have a great week.
The new 105.9.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
That was great, dude. I'm really excited to get to meet you here in a week and a half.
That was a fantastic show, guys.
Yeah, that was great, dude. I mean, seriously, I'm going to shoot an email some other time. You'd be like, yo, you just want to come back on the show and just jam a little bit?
Dude, anytime.